breezes. Take a look at that waterfall on your right. That's 45 feet tall. It gushes over 1,000 gallons of water per minute. The stones come down from Wisconsin, and behind it are the dwarf conifer tree gardens. Most conifers have cones, and most of them are evergreens. There are some that are deciduous, that have needles. Notice that structure on your right, about 3 o'clock. That is one of 2 arbor houses, and that's a place to sit down and just reflect. Right in front of us is there a sand zen, Z-E-N garden, and that sand is raked and it resembles the waves of the ocean. And look again to your right through the clearing. You'll see a building. That is the Schoen building, and in front of it is a concrete zigzag bridge that was purposely designed that way to make us humans stop and smell the roses. The building itself originated in Japan. It used to be the summer retreat of the aristocracy and the samurai warriors. We had it disassembled by craftsmen. We flew it over here along with the craftsmen who reassembled it without nails, glue, screws, nuts, or bolts. That third island, the largest of the 3, is called Kyoto, the island of the auspicious cloud. Look at this big, beautiful, tall tree on your right. That's a cottonwood tree, and that was living before we opened it up to the public. So we constructed this road around it to preserve it. Coming up momentarily on your right is the second of the 2 arbor houses. It's now coming into view. And at ground level, where this gentleman is taking pictures, are the Labin evaluation gardens. Here, plants and flowers remain for a minimum of 4 years. We evaluate them on size, texture, color, how they adjust to the ever-changing climatic conditions that we endure here in the Midwest, and also how they interact with insecticides. Coming up on your immediate right is Evening Island. It's a great place to view the sunset. And just to the left of it on your right are the Carillon Bell Towers, which I'll talk more about when we get on that side of the garden. But for the time being, we're coming to our first stop. This is the Rice Plant Conservation Science Center. It holds the coveted architectural award called the LEED Award, which stands for Leadership in Environmental and Energy Designs. It has solar panels. It has 2 rooftop gardens where we evaluate prairie plants. It's enclosed both inside and outside by glass, and if you got off, you could see scientists, technicians, and volunteers working. Look also on your left. It sits on pillars because there's a rainwater glen there that has aquatic plants underneath the building. Oh, wow. And those plants absorb 30% more water than the grass in your backyard. It is also home to the Institute of Negaunee. This is Negaunee. This is a globally recognized institute for the preservation and conservation of flowers, of trees, of wildlife. But more importantly, especially for you young folk in my first row, you smile, because we have horticulturists, botanists, ecologists that are trying to come up with ways to meet the challenges of our environment. All of us, those of you who are from Illinois, back in the springtime, I remember, we had, please hold your child on your lap back there, thank you. We had climatic conditions that changed 45 degrees in one night to 95 degrees the next day. We need to meet those challenges for you and for the kids after you and for generations after you. Also inside is the United States' largest plant and pollen seed bank. We have over 100 million plant and pollen seeds. Many of us here have already seen the extinction of some animals and certainly flowers and plants. We are so fortunate to have this seed bank so that we can regrow, replenish those extinct flowers and plants. We're very, very lucky. Anybody care to get off? Or are you going to make the right choice and stay on with me?
Yes.
Good choice. Tram leaving the Science Center, no one on, no one off.
Me too.
Tram is moving forward. Take a look on your right. You see that sculpture? That's a solar sundial. And as long as the sun shines, that is accurate to the minute. But I'd like everybody, especially the parents whose kids can't tell time, point to 1 o'clock to your right and tell them to remember this, that if they come here in August, which I hope they do, the temperature could go above 105 degrees Fahrenheit over 45 degrees Celsius.
Oh, wow.
Just remember that fact for a couple minutes. Because now we're entering the Chris Gerentowski campus. This was named after one of our executive vice presidents who spent 40 years with us sharing his knowledge and experience on plant production. On your left, over the hedges, are benches and greenhouses. There we grow every year 250,000 new plants and flowers.
Wow.
140,000 are annuals, and the balance of 110,000 are perennials. And when those perennials come to full bloom, we replant them to 3 million other plants and flowers that are strewn across this 385-acre plot of land. In fact, 60% of this acreage is dedicated to natural areas, and 80 acres of the 385 acres are covered by bodies of water. The red building on your left is the head house and the home of the production staff. We're now going to be entering the Shida evaluation garden. It's a shade garden, and these cypress trees and plants and flowers flourish in the shade. And take a look, everybody, on your left. This is one of 3 crabapple tunnels. And if you want to get out of that 105 degrees in the prairies, come over here to this shade garden that was developed 3 years ago. And you can walk on this gravel path, be shaded by those vines, and also with that space in between the vines, enjoy breezes and winds to cool off. On your left is a rose garden with beautiful magenta, yellow, red, white, beautiful roses. And there's a series of 28 greenhouses on your left. Those are computer controlled. And those computers can open up the rooftops, the side panels, and with the combination of those exhaust fans and the computers, folks, we can simulate any climate anywhere in the world, from India to Europe to South America to North America to Asia to Mallorca to Spain, anywhere in the world. It's 55,000 square feet, of which 12,000 feet are dedicated to an orchidarium. And when those orchids become in full bloom, we put them on display in February and March in the Regenstein Center. These two red buildings on your left, those are the Granger Centers. And there, we have over 200, please keep your hands inside, we have over 278 bonsai trees. 120 of them are on display around the year. 32 of them are on exhibit at the Regenstein Center. And we even have one that's older than I am. Our scientists say that it's somewhere between 600 and 1,000 years old.
Oh, wow.
We're now crossing a very narrow weir, W-E-R. So this is why I keep on telling you to keep your arms and body parts inside. On the left, where you see a gaggle of geese way up on the left, that's the Skokie River. And on the right are some of the bodies of water of the Chicago Botanic Gardens. If you're a wildlife enthusiast, and I know most of you are nature lovers or you wouldn't be on my tram, if you decide to get off at the second stop, walk down to the water's edge. You'll see possibly, mink, beaver, otter, a deer. 3 weeks ago I saw 2 white egrets. And later in the summer you may see bald eagles and even blue heron. Don't put your toes in the water, little guys, because there's snapping turtles in there. We're now entering the Dixon Prairie that consists of 6 different prairies. In Illinois, at one time, hundreds of years ago, we were covered 60% by prairies. Today, it's less than 1%. This first prairie is called the Savannah Bur Oak Prairie. Take a look at the bark on these bur oak trees. There are many wildfires on the prairie lands, and they devastate the vegetation. But this vegetation grows back healthier and hardier the next year. But these bur oak trees, guess what? They're fire resistant. They may get scorched, but they will not burn down. On your right is the second prairie. That's Marsh Island, or the wet prairie. But there's a bridge there where you see someone about to cross. They can keep their feet wet because there's a bridge there. The third prairie is on your left. This is the tall grass prairie. It's only up to about midway right now, maybe 5 to 6 feet. A couple of maybe 3 to 4 weeks, it'll grow to 10 feet tall. And these yellow flowers you see, those are compass flowers. And they will reach 12 feet in height. And their roots are anywhere from 6 to 8 feet long. Here's one coming up on the left. That's got to be a good 8 feet. Taller than LeBron James, guys. On your right is our 4th and 5th prairies. On the top of that hill is the sand gravel prairie. During glacier times, when glaciers melted, it left sand and gravel. And when it rains, the water permeates through that sand and gravel to the bottom and behind that prairie to a cistern that becomes alkaline water and flows into the 5th prairie, which is called a fen, F-E-N prairie. Notice the plants and flowers are shorter on the sand gravel because they don't have the benefit of absorbing the water. Here are some of those tall compass flowers on your right. Remember when we crossed the weir, I said the Skokie River was on your left? Well, it will continue to run parallel to us for the next mile or so, and it plays a very, very important part to the Botanic Gardens, which I'll share with you when we get there. But for now, excuse me, we're coming to the second stop, or our 6th prairie. This is Sand Prairie. Does anybody care to disembark?
No.
Good choice again. Leaving the prairie, no one on, no one off. Folks, that may get old by the time I finish this tour. The tram is moving forward. A little show of hands. How many of you have been to the Indiana State Park dunes? There's one, there's two. Okay, on the southwestern portion of Lake Michigan, the winds are much more brisk. And as a few of you have already seen, they create very tall, I'm talking 20, 30 feet sand dunes. But we have recreated sand dunes on your right at a much lower level. And the space between the sand dunes is called a swale, S-W-A-L-E. In fact, we've got some lily pads forming. Coming up on your right, this grassy area is called Festival Field. And that's where we hold corporate events. And that bridge where you see the people are walking on the right, that leads back to Evening Island. But I want, especially those with cameras, take a look to your left. That is one of several condominiums. But those are strictly for purple martin birds. They fly, folks, 3,500 miles in mid-March from the Amazon in South America.
Wow.
They arrive here in early April. They eat and drink while they're in the air.
Whoa.
They nourish on dragonflies, and they're communal birds. And guess what they're doing right now? They're catching up on all the gossip that went on during the winter. Here's another one of the condominiums on your left if you failed to get a good picture of it.
Wow.
But I'm going to get, if you came on with a little crick in your neck, I guarantee you either your neck will be worse or it'll be all healed. Because on your right are the Carillon Bell Towers. There are 48 bronze bells in that tower. They were casted in Holland, in Europe. They range in weight from 24 pounds to over 5,000 pounds. They chime every hour on the hour. In fact, Carillon players come here during the summer and they play on their keyboards. And you can not only listen to beautiful music, but also enjoy the beautiful surroundings. See those people on that bridge? That is the Serpentine Bridge. We have over 14,000 varieties of trees here in the Botanic Gardens. 170 of the 14,000 are species of willow trees. And the bookends on that Serpentine Bridge are weeping willow trees. And coming into view in about 3 seconds is another bridge. That's the Arch Bridge.
Yes.
The French Impressionist, take a picture of this, please. The French Impressionist painter, Monet, has a portrait in his Parisian gallery of an almost exact replication of what you're looking at. That Serpentine Bridge leads to another island. That is called the Sensory Garden. There, just as the name describes, is a garden where you can come in touch, in tune with your 5 senses.
Wow.
And adjacent to that garden is the Enabling Garden. And those of us with disabilities can literally touch, feel, smell, listen to the birds, to see the plants and flowers and trees. Right here at the water's edge, those are white birch trees. And if you travel to Wisconsin, you would see a lot of those. Coming up on your right are purple beech trees. Get your camera out again. Take a look at the stumps of those trees. They resemble the feet of elephants.
Oh, wow.
And down by the water's edge, although you may think they're dying, they're very, very healthy. Those are called purple fountain beech trees. And behind those fountain beech trees, there's a bridge. That bridge is longer than the island that it connects to. It connects to Spider Island. And that island was named in honor of one of our donors, whose wife would never step on, touch, or kill a spider. Take a look on your left for a minute. See that elevated plot of land? That's called a berm, B-E-R-M. And on top of it is a red brick wall that runs from Dundee Road all the way to Lake Cook Road where you came in this morning. Fortunately for all of us, the noise that comes from gas combustion engines from cars and trucks remains on that side of the berm and wall and allows all of us to enjoy the beauty of silence. There's another good picture and view of Spider Island. It's the smallest of our 9 islands. But we're now coming to our third stop, which is the Regenstein Center, where that tower sits on. There we have a library consisting of thousands and thousands of books and sketches on horticulture, the environment, ecology. We also have those 2 courtyards where we have those 32 bonsai trees. We also have 3 accessible greenhouses, an arid, a semi-tropical, and a tropical greenhouse, where you can see those type of plants and flowers that flourish in those type of climates. Although I said that bridge was longer than Spider Island on your right, it doesn't look very long, does it? On your right.
Yeah.
And on your left is Circle Garden. That's a transitional garden where we transition flowers and plants from the spring to the summer to the fall. And when I started driving in the springtime, I gotta tell you, friends, the tulips, the colors must have been every color in the rainbow. On your right are those 3 greenhouses I spoke about. And on the left of the Regenstein Center is the model railroad garden. It's fabulous. It's for all ages. If you care to disembark, you may do so now. I've got a few people leaving me. Go ahead.
Is the tram garden free?
You can go back to that and walk back to it when we get to the end.
Okay.
Thank you, folks. Enjoy yourself.
Sully.
Everybody off? Leaving West Portico, 12 off, nobody on. The tram is moving forward, gang? Everybody off and safe? Good. If you turn your heads to the left, you have a little different perspective of the Circle Garden.
You see this place?
Here on your right, this cute little booth, that's the entrance to the model railroad garden. It comes along with your admission into the garden today. We have 19 model railroads on 19 tracks. I guarantee every one of you, it's not for your kids, it's for all ages. Because those 19 railroads crisscross the continental United States, from the state of Maine in the northeast to the state of Washington on the northwest. And we have landmarks all along those tracks. Landmarks that are made from natural materials, like the Statue of Liberty from New York City, Lincoln Memorial, Capitol from Washington, D.C., from San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, from South Dakota, Mount Rushmore, the home of the presidents. Even here in Chicago, Wrigley Field, the home of the Cubs, Comiskey Park, the home of the Sox. On your left are magnolia trees. In the spring, their blossoms are beautiful. And on your right are buckeye trees. And buckeye trees have nuts that drop Squirrels love to eat them, but they're inedible to us. But if you took the shell of the nut off, it would resemble the eye of a male deer or a buck. Thus the Buckeye tree, the state tree of Ohio, and the home of the Ohio State Buckeyes. On your right are the aquatic gardens. And if you came back here, which I hope you all do, in 2 to 3 weeks, you would see lily pads and lotus flowers. See where that truck is crossing that bridge? He's coming, or she, from another box you need to check off on your right. That's the fruit and vegetable garden where we grow over 700 varieties of fruits and vegetables. And notice a white box on the little hill in front of you. That is one of several beehives. And if it wasn't for our pollinators, who not only help increase the food supply chain, but they allow all of us to sit down at our next meal and enjoy our favorite fruits and vegetables. Also on that garden, there's an arbor of 36 species of apple trees. Golden Delicious, Macintosh, Crispin. Chefs come here during the summer and share their recipes. And in the fall, when we harvest those fruits and vegetables, they total over 5,000 pounds, and we donate them to the Roberti Community House in Waukegan, Illinois. On your right, part of those 80 acres of water, is North Lake. And for the last time on this tram tour, let me turn back the clock 13 years to 2012. Along our 5 to 6 miles of shoreline, we had aquatic plants that were eroding and falling into North Lake. So we took all the fish out of North Lake, the carp, the bass, the bluegills. We then drained that lake of 54 million gallons of water and put it where? Where did I tell you earlier? To the Skokie River on your left. We then planted 120,000 new aquatic plants, and this was a 2.5 year project. But in 33 days, we took those 54 million gallons of water and put it back into North Lake. I would say that's quite a feat,
Right.
quite an accomplishment.
Yep.
On your right is Oak Meadow. That first oak tree, which is a white oak tree with rounded leaves, is the state tree of Illinois. The second oak tree, which has pointed leaves, is the state tree of New Jersey. That's a red oak tree.
Oh.
And in the fall, acorns drop. And our friends, the squirrels, pick them up, replant them to grow future generations of oak trees. And a little unknown fact, friends, our beautiful bird, the blue jay, they also pick up acorns and plant them for future generations. Coming up shortly is a trio on your right of Serbian spruce trees. And in their native land of Serbia, they grow up to 170 feet tall.
Wow.
When we pass these trio of Serbian spruce trees, you can look across the lake and see that arbor of apple trees. But I have a surprise for everybody. I have made friends with a warbler, a yellow bird that looks like a finch, that will shortly, I hope for all of you, be flying onto my windshield and come right here and go back to you guys. I hope he comes out. Come on, Willie the warbler, where are you? Anybody see him?
Nope.
I'm sorry. I would have loved to have shared my friend with you. However, on your right is a majestic, peaceful, beautiful weeping willow tree.
I like that.
They love to grow near the water. However, Mother Nature has right beside that willow tree that threatening, ominous tree with thorns. That is a swamp locust tree. And I share those facts with you because our native inhabitants, our indigenous inhabitants, should one of their tribespeople have suffered from a headache, a back pain, and neck pain, they took the bark off of a specific willow tree, combined it with leaves like you see on your right from another willow tree, added water, boiled it, and those people, tribespeople suffering from that pain, drank that solution, and that pain either dissipated or disappeared. Somehow, please don't ask me how, I don't have the answer. German scientists, hundreds of years ago, came over here and got wind of that story, collected specimens, took it back to Germany, experimented with it, and would you believe that the core chemical element and one of the most commonly purchased over-the-counter medicines is from the bark of a willow tree? Anybody have a guess? It's an aspirin. And those same indigenous inhabitants took those thorns and sewed their moccasins or used them as weapons. On your left is the Butterfly and Bloom collection.
Yeah.
And we'll be making a stop
came here.
at the Regenstein Learning Center, which is behind that Butterfly
We came
Bloom
here.
collection, where we have over
The butterfly.
1,500 classes a year, furthering your education in botany or horticulture or ecology, cooking classes, Tai Chi classes, a preschool, a day camp, and a nature play center. Anybody care to get off here? You can get off. It's about a 5 to 7 minute walk back to the tram center. I need to move on, so make this huge decision. Have a great day. Leaving the Learning Center, 6 off, no one on. For the rest of you, thanks for staying on. We're moving forward. Coming up on your right, I'm in my 8th decade of my life. I walk probably way too much every day. I walk about 12 miles. But I'm only sharing that with you because on your immediate right, the age of these trees are very pale. They mean nothing to my age because the species of the trees that you're looking at are the oldest living trees, not in North America, South America, India, Asia, Europe, but on our planet. The species of tree are called ginkgo trees, and dinosaur bones have been found by that species of tree that tells us they've been alive for tens of thousands of years. On your right is Bird Island, and it's strictly for the birds. In fact, you see some Canadian geese from Canada. They're pecking away at insects, enjoying the water. And if the sun was shining, they would be basking in the sun, just like those purple martin birds. We're coming shortly to the end of the Grand Tram Tour today. And I would like to share our tagline and our mission statement. Our tagline reads, plants, people, the planet. And our mission statement, which to me is very powerful, reads, we cultivate. I'm going to use that word again. We cultivate the power of plants to sustain and enrich life. And I sincerely hope for all of you on my tour today that you experienced and embodied the words of that mission statement. We are so fortunate to have these botanic gardens in our backyard, if you will, to not only enjoy and appreciate their beauty, but also the utilitarian purposes they render us. I encourage everybody to go to our website, which is chicagobotanic.org, and see upcoming events that we take place here. I want to thank everybody for being my guest on this Grand Tram tour and being a guest of the Botanic Gardens. And I hope that I piqued your interest so that when we come to a full, safe, and complete stop, that you'll go back for the next 3 hours and experience firsthand those places that I pointed out that may have been of interest to you. Thank you very much and have a great day. It's safe to disembark.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I see it's become a basketball. Soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, sweetheart. Thank you. You are spoiled.
I know you got a lot of videos.
Okay. Your legs are tired?
No, I'm not tired. Because I'm sitting for over like an hour.
Huh? Thank you. Muchas gracias. I'm going to go around.
I love the Botanic Garden.
Bye, gang.
Okay, so we do have to step back from the tram.
Yeah, mommy.
Thank you.
Where are you guys going home? Oh.
I saw your children like outing. What?
Are we leaving?
Oh, wow.
Are we leaving?
I mean, I feel we should leave, but
No,
Oh.
we're not leaving.
Yeah,
Yes!
we're leaving.
So,
Let's go.
I want to go end this.
yay, we're not leaving.
Imagine leaving
Can we go to the hills?
again.
you guys are really having fun.
like
Okay,
Sorry.
maybe you guys should go take some drink in the car now.
So I was lost last time.
I saw where we I saw where we parked when we were on the tram.
Park on the park. Saying long
You
leg.
guys have free food?